Greetings and welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee, and this is me, Oberon, with Goth Tarot, and it's my weekly look into shadow issues, things that depress us or things that should concern us, but also things we can work through. We call that shadow work, and lately we've revamped Goth Tarot, and by we I mean Uh, my wife, consort, and partner, Banshee, Shadow Wolf. So she appears on the first episode of each month, and we outline a kind of sense of a shadow issue that may be more major in our lives. So for the month of August, using the Cries of the Soul's Oracle, we came up with the energy sponge. So I'm going to remind everybody briefly about that because that will be uh, the main thing we will update and possibly concern ourselves with. I align my internal and external balance. My role is to make your ego fade away and disrupt the harmony in your inner being. I sponge up everything outside and bring it inside. With me, external energies become your negative internal energies. When I am with you, I'm constantly at my job. So you feel tired, irritated, and scattered. And you have difficulty setting boundaries and asserting yourself. You can't seem to focus on yourself and your projects because all your attention is on the outside world. Boy, do I resemble that remark. So if you're like me, yes, uh, sometimes you can make the concerns of the world become so embedded in yourself that it creates those effects of irritation or isolation or helplessness. And these are things that we to work through. So we did kind of give us some ideas in the original August episode, and then last week we continued that a little bit, but we showed maybe things that were adjacent to this issue and how we may construct distractions or detours, as I call them, from understanding what the truth really is. So today we're going to start with an affirmation from the Oracle of the Hecatean Path. And if you haven't guessed before now, I am, in fact, uh, a Hecatean. I don't have an incredibly founded and well depthful worship or veneration or devotion. But in the past, I did, along with my group, my circle, my coven, we performed a number of Hecate rituals, usually a feast day honoring her on November 16th, but occasionally in the August area because that too was one of her uh, sacred days. So I'm going to read from the Hecatean Oracle, the card I pull. Guess you can't see it that well here, but that's the guidebook. Dataphorus, Torchbearer. Of course, Hecate is often employed in the idea of a torchbearer, guidance. Number 16, and of course November 16th, as I mentioned, is the feast day from ancient times for Hecate. Dataforos, torchbearer, guidance. When in darkness we lose sight of the path before us, Hecate can shed the light to illuminate our path. The Homeric hymn to Demeter says that Hecate came to Demeter on the 10th day after Persephone disappeared, holding a torch. And so she shines the light into our lives, guiding us through darkness and the unknown. However, the light will only span so far. There must be some sense of mystery, and we must not be completely afraid of the dark or let the unknown hold us back. And fear could be a big reason why we avoid dealing with the shadow issues. In terms of being an energy sponge, we're scared of that world out there, and we're absorbing all those fears and conflicts, things that promote our own impatience with wanting it to get better, but also our reluctance to feel that it will get better. So it's important to consider that. All right. And I've moved back to the energy sponge card because I'm now going to pull a card from the Erethereal Shadowwork Tarot. And I specifically use it as this update card, but we also used it in the beginning of the month when we started this course of shadow work. We used it for a number of the positions. I'm going to keep these devoted episodes of Goth Tarot in a separate playlist called Shadow, which can be reviewed. They'll be marked with the dates so you'll know where to start if you want to start at the beginning. But I believe its order will be from the most recent segment and then working back to the older ones. All right, so here I am again with the Erethereal Shadowwork Tarot, and I am updating it's the Page of Pentacles. So overall, the update is good here. The upright Page of Pentacles we are using the time to begin more introspection into this area. The page can be philosophical as well as mystical. In some ways, they can be an avatar of some of the major arcana, maybe the magician, maybe the fool. It's the idea maybe of getting into your intuitive nature. There is an intuitive quality here. It's not exactly the same as the Page of Cups, for example, but it represents an interest in mysticism and philosophy and application. And it strikes me too that another thing about the Page of Pentacles in this context is we could be realizing where physically being an energy sponge has affected our health or our sense of security around us. And so we may be starting to find applications to work with that too. Good luck with that. Okay, so now we're going to do the other regular reading, and I'm going to work from several decks as usual. So the first deck I'm using is the Lost Soul Tarot, and we are looking at the Dark Avatar. What is your Dark Avatar? And the Dark Avatar in this sense is an archetype or avatar that you use that can also contain the shadow issues. It's possible that this is a way for you to take advantage of the good parts of that, being able to rationalize or justify things per your shadow, but it could also be used as a distraction or a detour. That was my shadow that did it. So, like I mentioned, I'm using the Lost Soul Tarot for the Dark Avatar. That's the Fool. Your Dark Avatar may be the Fool. And what that tells me is that you are letting a certain level of control just happen randomly. Um, and so it sort of becomes a freewheeling, easygoing, it is what it is kind of personality, maybe in the face of what shadow issues may be doing inside, whether it is, reacting as the energy sponge, maybe the Dark Avatar, the Fool, also allows you to say, it's random, it's unexpected, I have no control over it, but isn't this part of it good? If it's good, of course. And so, to some degree, there's a sense of being a bliss ninny, uh, seeing only good in certain random things that happen, whether or not the effects of that could actually be bad. So let's move on to the next position then. And what is the dark trick? And for the dark trick, I'm going to be using the Joker Tarot. Here's a picture of it. A little macabre of a Joker, I would suppose. There's the back of the deck. So the Joker Tarot, it's also, excuse me, how we ourselves may be being deceitful, using trickery of various sorts or semi-truths, non-truths, to control or to hide other things about, the shadow. So this could pertain to the energy sponge too, because it could be a further way of saying you're not the authority or the agency indicating these ill emotions you may be expressing or vouching for, but it could be a way of trying to distract people from other realities. I know that's a little vague there. Let's see what the card says. Ooh, I think this one has come up before um, as the dark trick, and it's the world. The world is upright, so that's okay. And you could literally be saying, well, things are really good now. Things are perfect. We're moving on into new phases. There's nothing to worry about. Uh, the the matter is concluded. The issue is concluded, but it's not, uh, because that's why we're doing this show, and that's why things happen the way they happen in our world. We can be in a lot of denial about what's going on with our shadow, with our dark archetypes and avatars, personas. Well, then, I guess we have to see if there is a way, at least for this week, that we resolve those qualities there. It's kind of funny because the Fool is the beginning of the tarot, and the World is the ending of the tarot. Are we going through the whole run this week or so in regards to the shadow work that maybe we're naive in a way, but we're ready to let something happen? It's just that we would rather enjoy it as a more random process. But when we come, to a sense of the end of it, we're also willing to rationalize that everything happened the way it was, and everything is kind of sort of perfect, and we're just going to move on. Is that what it is? Let's see what really needs to reconcile those qualities. I'm going to use the Midnight Boulevard, and we are calling this the Dark Horizon. In what ways will we reconcile this or unite these factors, explain these factors? I don't have the representation of the deck, Midnight Boulevard. I've used it often here since I got it sometime last year. I think it's a lovely deck. Love it. It is, of course, very suitable for Goth Tarot being dark. So, what is our Dark Horizon? Um, how will we move on from here? How will we evolve? And it's another major arcana, but it's reversed. It's the Star. There may be a hard time reconciling this. We may be feeling like we have to admit that the future is not so rosy, despite that there still is reason to be concerned. Maybe it dovetails back to that. And that card's a little bit washed out there. Let's see if I can. As I said, it was the Star reversed. So I'm sorry about that. Doesn't seem the greatest way to end this. Um, I'm looking to see if I have another deck that I can pull a better card, and I don't have it. uh, but we're going to finish with a brief reading and affirmation from the Earth and Bone Tarot, which I've used here a lot. So I will begin that. There's the cover of the box that shows better. I think that we could also look at the dark horizon, the star reversed, as coming to a sense of a dark truth kind of situation, a truth we have to accept. All right. And the Earth and Bone card is prudence. Number 30, prudence. I know I've had this one before. Self-assurance, honesty, integrity, perceptiveness, clear-mindedness. You may have people in your life who do not share your values or opinions, yet you can still coexist and walk hand in hand because you are self-assured. Everything you see, learn, and believe is absolutely okay in your reality, and everything someone else knows and believes is perfectly acceptable in theirs. It's critical at this time that you keep healthy boundaries. Others should not force their ideas, views, or perceptions on you. And you should not tell anybody else that their ideas, beliefs, or realities are untrue. Each of us is living in a world based on our experiences, and only you know what that world is like. Your sole objective in this moment is to be true to yourself, and that is all you need to think about. Understand the distinction between sharing and forcing. Sharing ideas, opinions, and experiences is a form of energy exchange, not imposing them on others. You can ascend if you fully embrace your existence here and now and listen to your inner knowing without acting like a victim, a bully, or a hero. You may have to spend some time in nature, healing, reflecting, meditating, and getting away from the surroundings of people who are limiting your growth. In order to grow and develop, you may need some solitude. That doesn't imply you have to eliminate people, places, or things completely, but only if they cause an unbalance and cause more harm than good. You can walk beside others while existing in your own reality. Keep in mind that your beliefs are yours and their beliefs are theirs. You have every right to believe what you choose and to live your life as you will. Develop your own beliefs and live, trusting and grounded in your reality. Accept yourself completely. Everyone has the right to their own reality. Affirmation. I'm in a constant state of harmony. I allow myself to feel deeply. And of course, this is not saying we have to accept really, truly bad situations, those that feel those. This does not give us license to have those situations necessarily in our lives. But you do have some of the tools here you need to figure out how to deal with them. And what I got from Prudence, I thought, was it does address some of the situation of the energy sponges that you need to realize there's a point of control you need to have for that, and that you're not going to let what you're perceiving there become this bigger part of what you set up as boundaries and what you share and what you don't share, etc. So I thought that was a good part to take away there, and I realized that at least looking at it from this week's perspective, there's still some work to be done with all of this, and that it's not a matter of lowering expectations, but it is understanding that others may still have their reality, and that the work we do has to be for ourselves. So this is Oberon saying, thanks for watching Goth Tarot. We're on live tomorrow night, Thursday night, from 7 to 9 p.m. My other recorded show, Oberon's Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges, which is about relationships and emotional matters, is on Friday morning at 7 o'clock. We also have Happy Hour, which is a live show with a positive message for everybody. Just one card pull, everybody gets one. That's on Saturdays at 10 a.m. And then I believe we have a monthly modality message coming up too. It's probably later on Friday. Also on Sunday is Banshee's Material Matters at 10 a.m. and that's recorded, and also for every sign of the zodiac. But we are live in the chat room, so you can join us there, and we have a lot of fun. And then we're live again Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. Please remember, all times are Eastern Standard. And I guess that's about it. See you next time. Bye-bye.